Okay, listen, it's time to stop overthinking your interview prep. Listen, I get it. I get it. We want to come into the interview feeling prepared, and we're never really taught exactly how to prepare for an interview, right? But I want to give you one tip today that is going to change the game in terms of how you prepare for your next interview. All too often, people treat each interview question as a standalone question that requires a completely unique response. This is why we'll spend hours searching up common interview questions and days rehearsing our responses. In reality, an interview is an opportunity for you to showcase the value of what you bring to the table. And you want to be sure to do that in a memorable way. The easiest way to do this is to highlight your professional brand throughout each response. Okay, now you may be thinking, girl, how do I do that? And I can sum up my tip in 8 words. Know what you want to be known for. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be diving into how you can leverage your professional brand to make interviewing easier. Okay, look, it's time to do away with rehearsing our responses word for word, where we are spending 3 hours in the mirror, like asking the question, so tell me about yourself. Tell me about a time when you dealt with a difficult person, and we're just, standing in the mirror, rehearsing word for word what we're gonna say back. Now listen, this is where that all starts to fall apart. I don't know about y'all, but there have been times when I have perfectly rehearsed like all of the top 10 interview questions, and I come in like off the bat, they're asking, so tell me about yourself. So I got that one, great. They're asking me, what's your greatest strength? Got that one, great. But then they asked me a question that I did not prepare for. And y'all, let me tell you, I've had my fair share of time being on both sides of the interview table. And as an interviewer, I will tell you that it definitely shows when you've rehearsed responses word for word and then you get a question where you did not prepare. Those stand out like a sore thumb, right? And I'm trying to help y'all not do that. Now, I get everybody's not comfortable enough to feel like an interview is a conversation. We'll talk about that in a different video, but you should understand that your resume has positioned you as being qualified to do the job, right? Like that's why they called you in for the interview. But the interview is the opportunity to show them that you are the right person for the job. And the way that you do this, the way that you make yourself memorable is by telling a clear story. Here's the thing. People aren't going to remember every single thing that you said during an interview, right? Like there's no way for them to remember all of the words, especially when you are indeed saying all of the words. Like it's no way for them to remember all of that. But they do remember the stories that you tell. They do remember the impression that you left behind on the other side of those stories. And so when you know what you want to be known for, you make it that much easier to position yourself accordingly. So I'm going to give you 3 steps for how exactly to do this. Step 1, write down the 3 main things that make you the person for the job. I want you to think big 3. So some examples could be, I bring clarity to spaces where there was chaos. I am not afraid of the big challenges. I am known for making data-driven decisions. Now look, depending on the job description, there are going to be so many things that they are looking for in this ideal candidate. What you want to do is you want to laser in on 3 areas where you know you win. Which brings us to step 2. Jot down several examples to back up each of the big 3. Think of stories that you remember well, scenario, right? Think of experiences where if you were talking to a friend, you could tell them beginning to end exactly what happened in the scenario. Now look, this is not a time to write down 10 plus examples. You only need to think of several examples that drive that point home. And this brings us to step 3, the final step, which is to practice answering random interview questions with your big 3 in mind. So you can go ahead and Google top 100 behavioral interview questions, or type in whatever you want. Use whatever platform you want to. Like, I'm not sponsored by Google, so use Bing, Safari, Firefox. Take your pick. You just type in something that is going to bring up multiple interview questions for you to respond to. The emphasis here is on having the big 3 in mind. This way, when you are hearing the interview question, or as you're practicing, when you read the interview question, you're not scanning your memory banks for every single experience throughout your career, right? You are thinking through the lens of, okay, I've already got several examples that go with each of the big 3. You're pulling from that to determine which makes the most sense to highlight based on the question at hand. Look, there is no way to know every single behavioral question an interviewer might ask you, but that's the way to ensure that you have an impactful response regardless. Bonus, not only does this allow you to quickly come up with relevant responses, but it also allows you to strategically paint a picture of who you are as a professional. When done successfully, the interviewer may not be able to remember your exact responses, but what they will remember are the characteristics you displayed by way of your big 3. Okay, and that's my time. I'm gonna keep it brief so you can spend your time focusing on prepping for your interview the right way.